So he just complains at me and then he just disappears.
Yeah, I mean, sounds like Eric.
But all I want to do is find a way of scheduling Java.
I mean, I've heard him talking about this like Nomad tool or something which can do this.
Really? But he's just so selfish. I mean, like, I'm just sick of this. I just kind of think that, like, oh, hi, hey, Eric. You heard that?
Hey, Nick.
You heard that?
Yeah, I did. But don't worry, because this episode on HashiCraft, I'm going to show you how we're going to schedule Java applications using Nomad.
That sounds cool. Let's head over to the studio, good buddy.
Okay. Oh, shut up, Barry.
Ugh.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Jeez. Okay.
Yes. So, what's up, buddy? You were saying that you wanted to schedule a Java application,
Right.
right?
Without Docker.
All right. Yeah. So, I will show you how to do exactly that using Nomad as a scheduler.
Cool.
Yeah. So, first thing we have to do is we'll have to install Nomad, of course.
Right.
All right. So, to do that, we can head over to the Nomad website, which is at nomadproject.io.
Uh-huh.
And then just follow the big download button.
And I'm guessing this is going to be like some monster install. It'll take me, I don't know, like 3 days
Nope.
and install everything all over my computer.
Nope. The nice thing is it's just a single Golang binary.
Nice.
So it's super easy to install. Just copy the link,
Uh-huh.
and then we're going to head over to my editor.
Right.
Right. We'll just do curl. We have to follow the links
Gotcha.
because it'll try to redirect me. All right. Nomad.zip. And then paste that URL in.
Nice.
And it's not that big. It's only 38 megabyte for both the server and client inside one binary. So that's
Okay.
really easy.
So both the server and the binary, server and the client is in the single
Yes.
binary, same binary.
Yes,
Single binary.
that's correct.
No
Yeah.
no other stuff to install.
No, it only consists of that one binary that you put on all of your servers
Uh-huh.
and then configure it to be either a server or a client.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All right,
So what's next?
So I unzipped the zip file. Let me
Right.
just remove that because that's just going to trip me up. And let's move it to somewhere where we can use it. So I'm going to move Nomad to user local bin Nomad. So now it's on my path and I can just call Nomad from here,
Cool.
just like that, right? And all the commands that you run give fairly nice output on the command line. So it's fairly easy to explore the commands yourself.
Nice.
And then to run it on my local machine, I'm going to be running it in dev mode, which is the developer mode,
Okay.
which will just spin up a single instance configured as both the client and the server.
So just to recap, all you've done is you've got obviously you've got a Java development kit running on your machine, and
No, I have not installed that yet. So we're going to be doing that next.
Okay, cool.
So first, let me just show that Nomad actually works. So if we do nomad agent -dev, we'll see that it's actually starting Nomad. So the next thing is to install Java. Now, the guides I always like to follow are the ones from DigitalOcean because I think they make amazing guides on Linux. And in this case, yeah.
I was going to say in general, I think DigitalOcean can do some really nice stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And in this case, I'm following their Ubuntu guide since that is what WSL2 on Windows is running on my machine.
Okay.
And we can just run the default JRE install in this case.
Okay, and that installs OpenJDK, I see.
Yep.
Okay, so now we've got all the dependencies installed. How do we actually run Minecraft on Nomad then?
Now, we can just do that by creating a file in the HCL language, the same language we were using with Terraform.
So the HashiCorp configuration language, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And then we need to specify a few things in there for it to work. So the structure of a Nomad job is that you have a job. With inside that job, you have a task group. And then inside that group, you have the different tasks.
Right.
And the reason why this is done is that tasks are co-located within a group on a single machine. So I can say that I want to have a Minecraft server
right.
which would be my task. And I can say that I want to have a count of, say, 3 or 2,
Okay.
right? And it will then schedule 3 of those Minecraft servers
So we
on different machines.
So both, well, you could have one, I could have one, and Barry could have one as well.
Yeah, which means we wouldn't have to worry about Barry anymore.
Well, Barry is a bit of a problem.
Yep.
Okay.
So let's actually flesh this out with the actual syntax. So let's start off with the job, right? So we want to schedule a Minecraft server. So let's specify a job of Minecraft.
Okay.
And then inside that, we need to first specify in which data center this is going to live. Because we
Okay.
can actually split up our machines over multiple data centers.
Right. So for now, we've just got a single dev. So we're just, what do we do?
Well, I'll just use the default data center name of
Okay.
DC1.
Is this how you spell center in Holland, in the Netherlands?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
data centers.
Uh-huh.
How do you spell it in the UK?
All
right. So now we can actually fill out our group then.
Okay.
So let's also just call the group Minecraft, since we'll only have one group and I can't come up with any better names.
No.
And in the group level, we'll need to fill out some things extra afterwards. But I'll first move on to the task so we can actually get to the grunt of it.
Okay.
And for now, you're not getting a server, Nick, so it's just going to be count 1.
What, just for Barry?
Yeah, we're just going to move Barry away.
Yeah, that'll help us massively.
So in this case, we only have one task since we only have to schedule one service. So I'm just going to call it server for our Minecraft server. Now, we want to be scheduling a Java application directly. Now, Nomad supports several drivers that you can use to schedule work, and containers, the ones we used before, is one of them. But the other one, and the one we're going to use today, is Java. So we have to specify the driver that we will be using.
Because it's Java, do I need a supercomputer or anything like that to run it on, or do I need to find a computer from I don't know, like 1999 or anything, or will it run on a modern computer?
Well, it will run on any computer that supports Java.
Nice.
In this case, I'm running it on my fairly modern desktop.
Nice.
And it should work on your very modern one as well, as it would on any server.
Cool.
So now that we have the driver specified, we need to specify what we actually want to have running. Now, we know that we want to have the Minecraft server running, but we need to get that jar file to run that, right? So let me just grab the URL for that. So that's the URL to the jar.
Okay.
But in order to actually fetch that, I would need to download it, put it somewhere. That's very bothersome. So instead, I can actually have Nomad retrieve the file for me.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And we can do that by using the artifact stanza. So we specify an artifact block, and then we need to specify where the source is. So in this case, the source will just be the jar file.
Right.
Now, even cooler is that if we specify a zipped format, so either a zip file, a tar gz, tar bz2, etc., Nomad can actually extract that for you.
Cool.
So that will come in handy later when we want to expand upon this demo and actually download our world, for instance.
Nice, because we were doing all of that in the inside of the startup of the Docker container, but that's pretty cool that Nomad will be able to do that for us.
Yeah. So now that we have that artifact, which Nomad by default puts into the destination of local / and then the name of the file. So in this case, it would be server.jar.
So, sorry, dude. This local folder, what does Nomad creates this for me? Is that?
Yes, that's correct. So what Nomad will actually do is it'll create like a little ch root for you, and then run the process in there. And so the file system that Nomad creates for this, what is called an allocation,
right,
will actually be separated from all the other running processes.
Nice. Oh, that's pretty cool.
So, but since this is the default directory and we'll just be using that, I'll just comment that out. But I'll leave the syntax here just to for clarity. So we have our jar file. Now we need to run it. So we need to configure the Java driver. So we'll specify the config blog, and then we need to tell it where it can find the jar file. So the jar path in this case would be where we've downloaded. So that would be local/server.jar.
Okay, nice and
Right.
easy.
Yeah. Now, when you run the server jar, it'll pop up some UI, but since we're running it on a server, we don't care for that very much. So we can pass in arguments to the jar file by creating an args argument.
Okay.
And we can pass in an array. And in this case, we just want to pass in no graphical user interface.
Yep.
All right. Well, if you're familiar with Java, there's some extra things we need to configure, and that is the memory sizing.
Oh, yeah.
So what we want to do is set some JVM options so our Minecraft server actually has enough resources to run.
Yeah.
So we want to be setting the maximum memory, which let's just start off with 2 gigs for now.
That should keep Barry going for a little while.
Yeah, and if it crashes, Barry won't notice.
Barry's he's special, not so observant.
No. And then as a minimum, let's just give him 265 megs to start with. Then he has some room to grow.
Nice.
Okay. So now the JVM will actually want to grab that amount of memory. So we need to specify to Nomad that when Nomad allocates this job, it needs to reserve some resources for this job.
Okay.
Right.
And I guess this is because in case if I've got multiple jobs running on a single machine, I want to make sure that, that they're not all fighting each other for resources and memory. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. There's actually 2 reasons. So one of it is that they're not fighting for resources. And then the other bit is that Nomad will actually know where there is still place to schedule a job.
Okay.
Because Nomad will try to do something called bin packing, and that's try and put as many jobs, like playing Tetris, on a machine as possible.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. So we'll need to specify the resources that our job will use. So we can specify CPU and memory, right? And since we gave Barry 2 gigs of memory, let's just do the same here. So his server doesn't crash when he actually tries to allocate more.
Which he will, because, he's been playing around with that world edit mod.
Yeah. Oh, Barry. And then we need to give it some CPU shares. Now, I don't want to be paying the bills for Barry, so let's just give him 100 megahertz of CPU.
Okie doke.
All right. So this should be enough to run our server.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's everything we need to do to run a server.
Okay.
But in order for us to talk to Nomad, we'll need to start Nomad in server mode, right? So that's what I was saying before, the Nomad dev mode.
Okay.
All right. So if I call Nomad and run it with the agent command, I can then pass in the dev parameter to run it in developer mode.
Okay.
Right. So when I do this, and we'll wait because it takes a second.
Literally a second.
Well,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Nomad actually starts up and starts fingerprinting the machine it's running on.
Nice.
Right. And it tries to detect what kind of drivers it can use. So luckily for us, it found our Java driver here.
Yeah.
And we should be able to run a Java job.
Nice.
Right. Now, because I'm running on Linux, there's actually an additional thing we need to do. And that's just because of the security on Linux.
Okay.
Right. So I'm going to shut down the server again. And I actually need to run it as sudo.
Okay.
And this is so that Nomad can actually create that chroot and make sure that the permissions and everything is correct.
Yeah, that's fair enough, I guess.
Yep. Now, another thing I want to do is specify where Nomad will actually store its data. So I'll be passing in a data directory, and I'll just put it in the temp directory of Nomad. Yep.
Yep.
All right. So let's start that again. And everything should be up and running. All right, let me create an additional terminal and let's try and run our Minecraft server.
Nice. This is a bit I've been looking forward to.
Yeah, I know, me too. So all we have to do is call the nomad run command with the job file that we just created. So in this case, that would be minecraft.hcl.
Right.
All right, here goes nothing.
Okay, I'm waiting. Oh. Yeah.
That's a pepcac.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't want to say this, but I mean, you are pretty good at those things.
Yeah, I added the braces at the start, but I didn't close them. Here we go.
Well, I mean,
Save.
at least it tells you.
Yes. So let's try this again, shall we?
Okay.
All right. So here we see that Nomad is evaluating my job.
Right.
And then it creates an allocation. And what an allocation means is basically the placement of my job.
Okay.
Now, if I would have increased the count, it would have created X allocations, right?
So an allocation,
makes sense.
Yeah. So I guess this allocation, it's like an instance of a job, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correctly. All right. So let's go over to the Nomad UI and actually take a look at what situation we have now.
Oh, nice.
Right. So since I'm running on localhost, I can just go to localhost 4646 and it'll pop up the UI for me.
Oh, nice.
Awesome, right? Oh, it's not happy.
Okay.
It's dying.
Okay.
So let's take a look at why that is. So we'll go to the allocation.
Right.
And it's unhealthy.
Okay.
Right? And that is because if you want to run Minecraft, we need to accept the EULA.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
All right. So let's add that to our job, right? I'll just stop this one and we'll just add that in. It's going to be very simple, buddy. Don't worry.
Oh, well, yeah. Those license agreements, does anybody read them? Do you think?
No, you just say yes.
You know,
and that's exactly what we're going to do.
I would always fancied I could get a job as a lawyer writing those things. I could just put anything in there. Song lyrics or something.
Yeah, lorem ipsum dolor.
Well, yeah, it'd be even cheaper.
Yeah. All right. So all we have to do is we need to create a file called eula.txt.
Okie doke.
And then put eula equals true in there.
Oh, well, that's easy enough. And you can do this with Nomad?
Yes. And we don't have to package it in anywhere. We can actually have Nomad create that file on the fly for us. And we can do that using the template syntax. So we're going to create a template. And we want to write the file eula.txt, right? And we want to put some data in there. Now, I could grab the source from another file, just like we did with the artifact. But let's just write it in here directly. So let's put the data in there, and we can just use some here doc. And all we have to do is eula equals true.
Nice.
All right. So that should be everything. Let's try and run our job again. And Nomad sees that our job has changed, and it'll try to place it again, right? So let's head over to the UI and take a look at what's up now. So again, it says running. Let's hope it stays running this time. Everything looks good.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the logs.
Oh, look at this.
Yep. It started our server.
Oh.
And it's now loading all the things it needs to do, and it's creating a world.
That's pretty cool. So this is literally Minecraft running on Nomad. I'm excited.
Yeah. But there's one problem.
Oh.
Barry won't be able to join the server.
Well, maybe it's for the best. I mean, he can just be a bit of a problem.
Well, let's fix it anyway, right? So we have the server running, but now we actually want to make it connectable.
Okay.
Right? And in order to do that, we need to forward some ports to it.
Okay. So kind of like how we did with the Docker containers in...
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But slightly different.
Okay.
So what we want to do is we want to use the bridge networking function of Nomad. All right. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to download the CNI plugins. And you can do that by going to this Git repository and then grabbing the release that fits your operating system. So if we go down here, we can see the assets.
Nice.
And in this case, I need to grab the AMD 64 one.
Yeah.
And we'll just curl that one.
And does this work for Windows as well, or?
Yes, it does.
Oh, nice.
All right. So now that we have the CNI drivers, we'll need to move them to the correct directory. Right. So tar extract z file. That's how I always remember.
Huh.
And let's extract that. Right. So this gave us a bunch of binaries. Right. So let's move all of those to the directory where they should be.
Okay.
Right. So let's create a directory called opt CNI bin. And I need to do that with the -p.
And then type your password. Is that password still?
You don't have to tell everybody, Nick. And then let's move those files there. So move bandwidth, DHCP. We actually only need bridge, but let's just move everything there. All right, there we go. So now the CNI plugins are actually in the directory where they're expected to be. Let's try and run that job again.
Okay.
All right, so if we go over to the UI, take a look at our job. That's still running, right? Everything's good, but we can now actually start using the syntax. I'm all the way off track because of the stupid zip file.
Uh-huh.
All right.
And I don't
So
think you've put
now that we have, oh, sorry.
I was going to say, I don't think you put the ports in either yet.
No.
Yep.
So I'm going to do that.
Cool.
All right. So now that we have those CNI plugins in the correct directory, we can start adding the stanza to make use of those.
Okay.
So what we're going to do on the group level is we're going to specify some network settings. So we'll create a network block, and we have to specify which mode we want the network to operate in. Now, as I said before, I want to use the bridge networking mode.
Right.
So if we just wanted dynamic ports, this would work.
Okay.
But in this case, we want to be able to reach those ports on that machine, right?
Yeah, we need to tell Barry exactly which port he needs to hit.
Yeah, because
Barry, right.
Barry. Right. So let's create a port for Minecraft. And on this port, we need to specify where we want the port to end up to, right? So our server.jar is running on port 25565. So let's specify that as 25565 is where we want the port to go to.
Right.
Right. But since you want to confine Barry to his local machine,
yes,
let's just bind it to his local machine. So
nice.
We're going to be specifying that it is a static port.
Nice.
And just so we don't need to have Barry typing any ports, let's just grab the default port as well.
Nice.
Right. Now, we could specify multiple ports here, but I don't want to give Archon to Barry. So let's not add the port here for Archon. Now, if we open up our terminal again, and we do a Nomad run on our Minecraft server, we'll see that it again triggered an evaluation because Nomad sees that there are changes in our job file, and it'll create a new allocation. Now let's head over to the UI, and we can see that we have an extra green bar, right? We're on version 3 now. And if we go to our allocation, we can now see that we have an address here, right? And it's not dynamic because we've specified it as a static port. Go to multiplayer and then add this server. Let's just call it Barry World for now.
Yeah, Barry will like that.
Yeah. Oh, Barry World. Paste in that IP, and I don't have to specify the port since we're using the default port.
Yeah.
All right. And it says that it's healthy. Let's give that a whirl.
It's looking good.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Look
There
at
we
that.
go. I'm in my world.
That's pretty cool.
we should actually be able to see that I joined the server, right? So here we can see that from the local machine,
Yeah,
I'm actually running on our just created Minecraft server.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's how easy it is,
Well,
right?
so we're going to
So
put all of the links to the source code on this in the thing below, and we'll upload all of the code to GitHub repo, I guess, as well. That's pretty
yeah,
pretty cool. So
definitely.
I want to try this out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna take a while, Nick, because I think I'll just start playing Minecraft on this server, and I'll see you in a
Yeah.
couple of years.
Oh, okay then. Well, bye, I guess.
Bye.
Bye. In the next episode of HashiCraft, our intrepid computer pebkeckers learn how to Kubernetes. Dude, I don't remember doing a module at university on indentation.
There's no university with low enough standards to admit you.
And on that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that bell button for notifications. However, between you and I, I'm not really sure this garbage is worth watching.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I know.
We should really fire that guy.
Yeah.